Cool, what a fix. Today we're back on completing this compressor that we started rebuilding the other time there, that most of you who followed us through know that this very compressor right here was locked up, and we succeeded in unlocking it between part 1 and part 3 precisely. So today, we're gonna be completing it, and we're gonna prove to you that it works. We might not get it installed in any car, but we're gonna show you that it works. When we're gonna get all these pieces back together, and we're gonna test it right here. Oh, this is not a coil. Find the coil. So now a lot of things are already here. This is a pulley, this is the back plate, this is a front plate, this is the gaskets, and another gasket, and this is actually the valve. This is the valve, both the front and the back. So what we're gonna be doing right now is we're gonna be using abrasive paper. This is 800 grit to smoothen this out, so we can have a very good surface. We are not replacing any parts here on this very compressor, so we want to get everything back into how it's going to be. I recommend the 800 because that's going to be smooth. I have another one here which should be P220. This is 2 cores. I'm going to use it in some other areas that I know that haven't been smooth enough before I can start using this one. So right now this is so smooth as we want it to be. So all is just to clean off some sort of rust or debris that's gonna create some sort of obstruction in this plate here. So here we have the second valve plate here. Now for this valve plate, you guys knows, if you've been trying to rejuvenate compressor before, you know that they have orientation. Aside the orientation, the back one is different from the front one, so it's all labeled so you don't miss it. The back end one is labeled letter R, means rear, while the front is labeled with F. So remember what I told you guys, I often don't do this except if suppose I got a used compressor, which is mostly what we got here, and I got it installed in my customer's car, and maybe if it is within the warranty period and it start having issue, that is when I get to rebuild it. We still have some other compressors here that we're going to be rebuilding, like this one here. We're going to be using this one for Prado 2009. This one here is not locked up, but can you hear that? It's not as live as I hope it should be. So I'm gonna be rebuilding this one to have more pressure. It's not locked up, like I told you guys. This one is not locked up, but this one here is locked up before we unlock this. So I'm gonna be rebuilding this one in another episode, and I'll tell you the symptoms you have. If suppose you want to keep up to it, fine. If you don't want, I'm gonna be keeping to this one. So right now I'm done with these two. They are okay with me. I can decide to have cleaned this one to some certain degree, and this one I'm gonna need to use fuel to wash it, to rinse it off of any debris that's still in there. So you can use a toothbrush. A lot of you guys know me, I use toothbrush with this because it can go in where my hand won't go. to keep things a little bit clean. You know, you can see the fuel will just change color. So use toothbrush and get them clean. Now this kind of rebuild we're doing here, we're not replacing any parts in as much as the part is not damaged. The pressure plate, the shaft seal, if they are not damaged, then you don't need to replace it. But it's often very it's actually good. Suppose you are rebuilding a compressor like this and it has been old with the system, if you are in a location where you can be able to buy the parts, then you should have some of those parts that helps in the performance replace, such as the valves, you know, the valve, so that you can expect nothing but the best performance. Put this fuel away, get another one in there. Just trying to economize my fuel because the resources right now is really something else. The federal government want to change it. Okay, so here I'm gonna just give a little bit of wash to this that I just use some paper to clean off. Brush them off. See if suppose there's any more. You know, it's always good to have a paper towel so you can use it to wipe things out. Clean it up and down. Clean and flip it. So after that, I can be able to rinse it off using my fuel. Suppose you find inside this hole, any of them are having some little debris, dirt. You can use the abrasive paper to clean it. You know, you can use 400, not something to coerce, because if you don't clean it up, it's gonna be taking it back again into the system. So you want to clean it up. You can wet sand it, but if any one of them proves tough, you can use the one that is more coarse to get it off, like this one here. So it looks much more cleaner. Get any rust that is there out, because those rust are actually due to the moisture that this thing here leave inside the system. If suppose you so now I'm gonna be rinsing it out. You keep this compressor aside so it doesn't stain it. So most of you are gonna say, oh, I'm using my hands, why I'm doing this? Yes, because no matter the amount of gloves I'm gonna be wearing, sanitary gloves, it's still gonna get it ruined. So sometimes you just have to take it out and keep your hands dirty. So a paper towel, clean them nice and clean. All these marks you're seeing right here are the mark of rust that have been there because of the rust. So here now I have some other things which are the components for it. If you misplace them, you have a problem. I keep it in the tent for the shafts. Have the spacer in the. So okay, so as it is right now, you come over here, so you can see now it's free. So I'm gonna clean this out a little bit to blow off any dust right there. You know, I would have recommend you should use some grease, but either grease or France, or use US to lubricate it, and it's gonna actually improve the system further. But I'm actually trying to think about the aftermath. What happens when it mix with your refrigerant? What could actually possibly go wrong? I've seen a lot of guys do it, but I think it does help the system to rest in peace, if suppose, or even blocking the expansion valve. Though I don't think it's gonna make any it's going to ruin the system, because this compressor actually needs it. So I'm going to be using grease to increase the viscosity and the viscosity of the oil that's inside. Most often times, if I might tell you, it's not everything that I'm doing that is manufacturer specified, but I just look at the option that works better. Then if I view it and if I weigh it and I know it's gonna work better, then I use it. Well, like here, a lot of other dirt in there, so I'm using this to get it out. You can see it like as if it's some sort of salt. So if you can see it. This is the hardest part of the job, because after here, no, I can't use this type. There's another one inside there. So I got 4. One. Okay, what type of grease should you use if suppose you want to do like I do? What kind of grease did you want to use? Okay, I've got my hands all stained up. You can see it here. So those are more like some sort of a salt inside. So I'm gonna be using some fuel to rinse it out a little bit. No, remember the process. So you can wash it out before I can apply some grease to it. Now when you have to put the grease, you don't put it inside. Yeah. Okay, if you are to apply grease like I do, I'm going to show you the kind of grease you should use. It's not any kind of grease you can get your hands on. There are 2 kinds of grease. There are the cold one that's like this, that draws like, that's not what you want to use. I don't recommend that one. I will recommend the soft grease that isn't as sticky as this. You don't need to put it too much, and that one is like this. So let me show you. You can see it right there. So it doesn't get that drawing like as if it's elastic. So this is just little ones I'm going to use from. And right here, the most crucial part where I'm going to be using this grease is between this piston walls here. You know, just here, little, because it's going to help to seal the piston gaps. There is not going to be any effect. Any bad effect is going to have. I'm actually thinking about that. So you go back, apply the same way. It's going to be a little bit hard to turn at the initial time. This is one of the trade secrets of restoring or rebuilding a compressor. They might not tell you that I use it, but I do have a feeling they do. In as much as it's a moving part, and you want it to really move well. Okay, so here it's gonna be more strong now, so I'm gonna be using this to turn it. Okay, I'm still having some feel of like as if there is a clunking noise there. I'm gonna use it a little bit more. You don't need to use it too much. You see, don't need to use it too much. Trust me when I say this is going to reboot it to become much more, to increase the pressure, which is the main ultimate goal. Then there is another place it's even much more vital to use. You can see it's pushing it out. So okay, so after here I'm gonna do it again, so you push it out, so all that's left inside is just little. But if suppose you succeeded in opening it, you can grease the part where it's actually making a contact. Now the next place I want to grease, use some grease out, is these valves. On the second one, let me use it here too. Okay, then I'm done. Then the next thing is this plate. I look for the front side where it's gonna be covering it. Use it here, just a little bit. No, let it not be too dry. If it is too dry, there's gonna be the compression is gonna be escaping, and it will not make a good contact like we're hoping it does. So it should have some little sealant, it will act more like a sealant to it. But suppose it get in there within those area where the moving parts are, that would have even make it much more lovely, but that's not a problem. We're gonna be using the oil to do that. So this one aside, one more, this one here. So I'm gonna check it here, check it here, check it here. All the holes where it blocks to create a compression is where I'm gonna be targeting here. Here, it's gonna make here. Okay, what's the next one I'm gonna be doing here is also this one here. So this is a complete overhauling the system. So just a little bit. Okay, I'll keep this one aside. Okay, now I want to come back here and clear all the excess that I have on this side here, clear them out, put it back in my grease stuff. Then after that, then I'm setting, you know what is next. It's making that squealing noise because there is no oil to it, so I'm gonna add some oil, just little, so it can stop singing in my ear. It's still making some, you can see it coming out here. Okay, so now I can clean off more excess. I can clean up more excess from here. Okay, now look at this side and see if there is any excess to clean it off. So literally leaving like as if it didn't even apply any thing to it. So you can see the pag oil dropping there. Okay, so at this level right now, it's time to couple it up. So don't forget the orientation, because this is where a lot of you guys is gonna mess it up. If you mess it up from here, you're not gonna get it right anywhere again. So whatever you do here, you should be very careful about it. So I'm gonna done. I'm gonna be starting. Okay guys, so the next one I'm gonna be starting with the back plate. I'm gonna take the back plate and I'm gonna take the back plate. Make sure there are some little grease out here. And also at this very point, it's important, whichever oil I'm gonna use on it, I wanna rub it. So I want it to be really sealed. I don't want the inside to look dry. So just little, it's just gonna be fine. So because most time before the oil is gonna get here, it's gonna take quite some time. So I wanna make sure that I use my hand to lubricate it, to have some oil in it. Then check out this one. The valve is pretty much the same thing between the front and the back, so I wouldn't worry about that. So get that, okay? So it has two faces. The first face where there are notch here, that is where it's going to be facing outside. What that's going to be facing here, while the side where there is a hole, small dot hole inside, that's where it's going to be facing inside the compressor. So I'm going to be looking at it like this and find where it matches, where the holes align. You can see this notch right here aligns, this hole aligns, and every other holes, you know about holes, don't you? So holes align there, and you can see that's closed perfectly. So here there's supposed to be a pin. I don't know if this okay, get the pin out. Supposed to be a pin to guide it here so that it doesn't misalign. Then after that, this one is not done. This is the most crucial part of the whole place. So if you miss here, like I said, you take one of these. Okay. Okay, they have some pins here. This pin is supposed to be 4. Hey, come on, don't dump all of them in my hand. Hold some. One here. And one here. Okay, you have seen the pin that I'm talking about. If you don't see me even when I put it, look at one here, look at one. So it's gonna be helping you to guide it where it's gonna be. Then the next one that should be coming on top right away is this gasket. So it have orientation. So make sure that you set it very well. If it doesn't match, you're gonna try the next one. Like this one didn't really match. Like I said, they are okay. This one matches. Maybe let me show you guys again so you can be able to know it. Look at this one here. All right. When after matching these two holes, this hole doesn't connect. This hole doesn't connect here, and this one doesn't connect here. But these two holes here met, so you have to know that this one is definitely not for this one here. So then you try this one here. And you see right there that the hole matches, so it matches. You want to make sure that the setting is correct. Setting here is correct, and hold it in place. Because if it's not correct, then there'll be a problem. So right now, you can see this. So it's so, and this one is okay. So the next thing here is this plate is gonna be flipping like this. The side I have the first valve, they have the valve, the main valve. They have two valves there. The first valve is here, and the second valve is here. This first valve here, where you're seeing the numbers of piston, is gonna be inside here. But due to the fact that we're gonna be starting from down, it's better to align it here first. So you check a look at the distance between here and here, which one is bigger. Here is smaller, so let's check out here which one is bigger. Okay, here is smaller, so here is bigger. So if I know definitely that when I put it, it's gonna be once, and you see, so it matches perfectly. But is that true? Let me take a look at it, because here right now I may have made a mistake. What is that mistake? And that is true. This one is actually for the front, this is for the rear, and I'm actually starting with the back. So that's a very big mistake right there. So that is why it didn't match in the first place. So it's good as I did this mistake, so you learn from it. I'm gonna keep this one aside. Even if suppose I'm gonna put it up right now, there's gonna be some little mess, so let me put it aside and set up the other one just the same way I set up this one. So this plate here, I'm gonna oil this one. Forgot this is rare, so you can't do it in such a way that if you attempt to miss it, you will not get a result when you're done. And I'm gonna show you how to get a result when you're done, even before getting it back in the system. In as much as it's a fixed displacement compressor, you should be able to know if what you did is correct. And if it is not correct, then it's for you to trace back to know exactly where you made a mistake. Because in here, mistake is not allowed. I repeat, mistake is not allowed. I did show you the orientation of the other one, so here I'll do the same thing. If you turn it and it doesn't work that way, then you flip it again. Okay, here right now they're perfectly aligned. So the next one is the back plate. It's going to be facing here. So you start with the valve. If you miss this valve, then the valve setting is very important. It's also very important in old model cars. If you miss it, then there's gonna be problem. The car is not gonna have a compression. Okay. Okay, so get the other cover, the gasket, the thick gasket. So we're gonna put it right in the, and it should fit without missing, and that's it, it fits. Okay. Okay, so here I'm gonna be turning it and make sure that we check the big one again, which is big. From here to here is bigger, here to here is smaller, so the same thing goes here. It's gonna be laying it like this, and it should fit in straight without missing. Okay, that's it right there. So this is well seated right now. And the next one here is gonna be this one, in as much as you got to fit that in. Which one is smaller? From the 12 o'clock, 312 is small, is the smaller, so we're gonna line that pin there, and it should clip right there. Oh, come on. Okay, and it's sitting right now. So that part is done. Okay, the next part here is the top one. The top one, this cover is going to be coming last. So you should check yours. If the seal is damaged, then you're going to be needing to replace it before you put it. So this one here, let me see that pin. Where is the pin? Okay, so the pin is complete now. You have one here, you have one here. So you're gonna look for the bigger side. This is the smaller side, this is the bigger side. Between here and here is bigger, here is smaller. So find it the same thing on the plate, and it should line up right there, and it sit cool. That's cool, huh? Okay, now the next one here, which I'm gonna be trying to lubricate a little bit or even add some grease to it. Just a little bit of grease to it. It's my shaft seal because I want to protect it, because it has a long, useful job to do for me. So which side is bigger here? This side is smaller, this side is bigger. The same way here is smaller, here is bigger. So this will be the right orientation. So I'm just gonna take a little bit, just smaller, smaller, smaller. Wiggle it, not too much. Okay, there it goes. Okay, now the compressor has been coupled, and that's it right there. But the downside is still having a problem. So let's check and know exactly why, because we are not in a hurry. It's seated well, so maybe the pin didn't clip right in there well. So let me reclip it, and now it's no more shaking. So from here now onwards, have to get the spacers. No, that big one is not in. Yeah, okay, get it. So get in the spacers and make sure that this are cleaned up, no dirt is allowed. Okay, give me the spacer here. You want to first tighten the two on the side here. Give me another spacer. Okay. Okay, use this one to remove some debris that time, so I'm gonna dust it off. Get it in there. If it has any obstruction, it means you have done a bad job. Get more spacers. Get it in there. So use your hand to guide it to avoid crossing a thread. We don't want to cross any thread there. Now we've made a mistake, and that's a mistake you shouldn't do. We put one without a spacer. If you put any of them without a spacer, it's gonna leak. Don't do a mistake. Check them while you're doing it. Let your mind be laser focused while you're here, because some sort of a distraction here is gonna be catastrophic. It's gonna make you to waste your refrigerant. It's gonna draw you back into start tracing where the leak is coming from. 8mm. Use your hand to guide it, like I said. And next, okay, that one is a little bit tight. So get this out here. Okay, let's go after the other. Okay, now we're getting in there. Okay, here we go. So at this point, Gonna tighten it stronger, little by little. Tighten it opposite by opposite. Don't over torque it. Okay. 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 That's right. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Okay. Well, I said don't over talk it, but man, you don't want any shit to leak out here. I don't want anyone coming back and, oh, that car works, but it leaks. Okay, so here we go. So now this is a moment where we're gonna see if all this dramas that I've been showing you guys worked. Though it's gonna need some oil. It's working. But it needs a good amount of oil inside for it to work well. And my oil is out. What am I gonna do right now? We're gonna keep turning it so that the oil will circulate inside. Normally, you should be able to take around 12 mil. So it's working, guys. But the oil needs to circulate very well before it can be rest assured that this whole thing, you can turn it this way, turn it upside down, let the oil get in there very well, because the oil is gonna do much more job inside in there. Without the oil, it's not gonna function very well, so you're gonna need to put more oil inside the system. While you're doing it, you're turning it. So pretty much that's it. The next thing you're gonna be having there is to put back the coil. But it works. It works. Oh, it works. Okay, guys, so let me put back the coil. This is not a coil for this car based on my calculation. This is for Mercedes. I'm gonna check if it fits, because most of the Mercedes compressor is dense. So wow, it works. It's actually the coil. Okay, so here this one goes in freely. It's not so good because it's gonna be allowing the bearing to play. We don't want the bearing to play. Come on, we don't want the bearing to play. Nobody is playing here. So got this one right here. It has a face, has a place that is blended in like this. This one here is flat, so that flat surface should be sitting here, while the one that is chamfered in there is the one that should be making a grip with this shaft right here. So put our snap ring plier right there, and it holds it in place. We get it in there. You should hear it snap. Now it snaps. You can't get this shit out anymore, so that's done right there. This one. And make sure there is a spacer. Before even the spacer, there is another snap ring plier here. So you put it right there.
You fix the one in the coil.
didn't get you.
It's not been playing the code.
Snap, yeah. So there's gonna be a spacer here. Else, come on, the camera is even a little bit tired, just like me. So you can hear the noise. So we need a spacer. So we got one spacer right here. We got it inserted inside. Then gotta check the gap, because if there is too many gap, then it will not work. Now you're no more hearing noise. That's ingenuity, right? But you gotta check this gap here. If it is too much, so this spacer is too much. It should be able to hold it when I press it like this. You don't have to press it hard before it does that. So, but it works.
Try this one.
Okay, let me get another spacer for it. Get another spacer for it. Got another spacer for it. Let's see if it works. Ah, this one works better. That's good. Okay, so put our 10mm bolt right there. And there are things you don't want to forget. Gonna smack this thing so it doesn't pull out while the car is walking. Hold it. Okay, that's good. So over here, the oil is circulating. The oil hasn't circulated, but I can feel it is working right there, because it's not even easy in turning, so the oil have to get in there to do its job. So guys, I'm gonna be calling this a success for the wire. You don't forget to clip this back to the body, and this one goes to the climatronics that supplies the clutch. So I gotta catch you guys later. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe to my channel. See you on the next one. Bye for now.